Today we are going to be answering one of the most frequently asked questions that we get here at the Car Edition. I know I get tons of messages myself personally about it. What to look out for when buying a used car. We have my temporary car behind me and we are going to be taking you through a list of things that you can check. Now, every car does have their own individual problems, like they will suffer with certain things more than others. Definitely still be doing some forum research, even just Googling the car that you're about to go and buy. Somebody somewhere will have a forum with really common problems for that car. So that is number one before you even go and buy the car or look into that car. So now say you know what car you want, you've got everything. First things first is doing a HPI check or some sort of online vehicle history checker, a CarVertical check, something like that. Use code the Car Edition for a discount if you are going to do that. Make sure that's clear unless you are going to buy a car that you already know is a categorized car and that doesn't bother you. Fine, doesn't matter. Next thing you want to do is then look at the online vehicle history through the MOT. Make sure that that is like reasonable. Make sure the mileage isn't crazy one year and not the other. Just make sure that it all kind of adds up. Obviously, you want to check how much your tax is and how much your insurance is. I've had it personally when trying to sell the S3. Somebody 19's turned up, gone, yeah, man, I want the car. I go, okay, cool. Here's a deposit. Oh, I can't insure it. Can I have my deposit back? No. Fuck off. If you leave a deposit and you don't check your insurance, that's your problem, not mine. Make sure you check all of those things. And then we'll actually come to buying the car. So let's get tucked in. Without sounding horrible or stereotypical, what you want to do is you do actually want to look at the sort of situation that you're in. Hey, if the car has been taken photos in front of like a mansion or something and you turn up to a council estate, why? There might be nothing of it, but there might be something of it. They might be trying to think, oh yeah, let's take a photo in front of this really nice house. People are going to trust me. Why do you want people to trust you? Is there that sort of situation? I know the car is currently filthy. When you buy a car, make sure it's clean. The owner who is selling it really should want to put the effort in to clean it. If they haven't cleaned it, are they trying to hide something? Sometimes little dents, little brushes and paintwork actually won't show up underneath the dirt. So make sure the car is clean. Then you want to go around, you just want to check all the panels under different lights. Bring a torch with you. You want to make sure that none of the bodywork or anything has any signs of different paintwork going on. All the gaps line up. Main thing to check for is along here. I mean, you can see even on this one, the door's been hit. It happens, okay? I know that that was me, so that's not a problem. I'll fix that at some point. But everything, the bonnet, the bumper, make sure that everything lines up. It's just straight, normal. All the gaps are as it should be. And if that's great, cool. Continue on. If it's not great and you've done your HPI check and it's all clear, just walk away because that means somebody's repaired it without going through the proper route and they've obviously done a shit job. Sometimes people get attached to cars. Don't. It's a bit of metal and some four wheels. All right? Don't get attached. Just walk away. You like it, you come into the car. Obviously, your normal checks. Make sure your trims are nice and clean and none of these buttons are fucking hanging off. A lot of the times on these Mercedes, this chrome will come off. This chrome on the door handle will come off here. Obviously, getting it. Really, when you go and buy a car, you want to ask them that it's nice and cold. So you turn the ignition on. You'll see the coolant temperature here. I've just been out for lunch, so mine's a little bit warmer. But make sure that that is on 0. Start it up. Make sure there's no untoward noises or unwanted noises when you start it up, okay? You're listening for like oil pressure noises, rattles, knocks, clanks, clunks, and bangs. Any of those, probably don't buy it, okay? Unless you're a mechanic and you know roughly what it is. But if you're unsure, just don't buy it, or unless it reflects in the price. So if that's all great, cool. What you then want to do is just pop the bonnet, come under the bonnet, and you want to listen. You know, there's no knocking coming from the engine. There's no whirring from the pulleys. There's no squeaking. There's no rattling. Everything's okay. Again, when you open the bonnet from a car that's being sold, you want it to be nice and clean. Now, if you've got a torch, take a look down the sides, get in, see where you can. On these Mercedes, they suffer with the oil coolers down this side, you know, so make sure that that's not leaking any oil. Make sure that nothing's damp, nothing's wet. Obviously, if you've seen on the MOT at one point it had an oil leak, maybe go to the owner and say, have you got any paperwork of this oil leak being fixed? Or is it just you've paid the MOT tester 20 quid to pass it once he's failed it? Lay on the floor, look underneath, see if you can see any oil, see any coolant. Obviously, you want to do your basic checks as well. Once you turn it off, check your oil, check your coolant, okay? Mine's getting a little bit low, which means I have a coolant leak somewhere. It's probably from the EGR cooler because there isn't fucking anything underneath, which means I'm gonna have to do that. It's really pissed me off, actually. That's really upset me making this, because I topped this up before I went away for the weekend. I've driven to Exeter and come back and now it's low again, which means I've got an EGR cooler fault. Fuck you. Alright guys, welcome back. Happy New Year. So make sure, again, that your tyres don't look like Akrish's head. Make sure that they've got... let's... So you've turned it off now. You want to check your oil. That's fine. That's on the maximum. You've checked your coolant level, and then just before you switch it off, you want to turn the steering wheel all the way one way, and then you'll be able to see your tyre treads a lot easier. You can see here, I've got plenty of tread on there. If you take a tread depth gauge with you, even better. 1.6 mil is the legal limit. Just come round to the other side. This side, there is plenty of tread left, not a problem. Once you've checked all 4 tyres, you want to go around, make sure that both of the doors are working from inside and outside, not any stickiness, no knocking when you open the door. Sometimes these check straps become loose on some cars and they go click, click. And then really, you want to make sure that everything works. So when you turn the ignition on, you want to make sure that all the lights are coming on, because sometimes people will just switch off the engine light permanently and you will never ever get one. See them coming on your ignition cycle, and then when you start it, they go off. Now at this point, you just want to leave the car running, let it warm up, press all of the buttons, press everything, go through, press all the fucking lights, make sure that all this works. Be a child, you know. If it's got Bluetooth, connect your phone there and then. If it's going to be your car, it's going to be connected anyway. You may as well make sure that it works before you take it. Armrest, make sure the glove box opens and closes. Like I say, just be a child, press everything. Then obviously go through the paperwork, maybe even do that first. If it's advertised full service history and you get there and it's got none, walk away. Right, so you've sat in, you make sure everything works, okay? Now to go through like the official bits. So washers, your wipers, your horn, all of that works. The seat belts click in, and then you give them a little pull like this, so as if you're trapped upside down, and then press the button to make sure that they release. And then unfortunately, like my one, it will retract a certain distance and then it won't. That is an MOT failure, okay? Sometimes a bit of furniture polish can work. So I'm going to be trying that, trust me. Make sure that obviously the seats go forward, they're moving back and forth, and then do the same thing in the back. Grab the back seat belts, they clip in. And then really what you want to do before you buy the car, take it to a garage and have them do a proper health check on it. Because a lot of the times you won't be able to see any of this when you're buying a car, but a garage will. So you've done all of that now. You make sure that all the inside of the car works. You made sure that everything's working to your standards. So your bum's nice and warm by now because you've turned the heated seat on. Make sure that the aircon does work, because again, if not, that's just going to be an additional charge to you. And if it doesn't work, why doesn't it work? It might be out of gas, or it might need repairing. So it could be £100, it could be £500, who knows? So everything in here now inside the car is up to standard. So let's get back outside. You can do this when you're checking your tyres, all right? But when you're down here, make sure you're checking your brakes, okay? So you can see through there, my pads are like brand new. And then a lot of the time, like this car, you can't really see a lot. See if you can see any like broken springs or any of your shock absorbers are really wet. Come to the back, use the torch on your phone. I can see a couple of the suspension joints. They're all right. Obviously, we've checked the back tyres. We know that they're fine. What you do now is you get in it and you test drive it. So, first things first. You're off on your road test, you got the car in drive, put the handbrake on, take your foot off the brake a little bit, make sure that the car does at least hold on the handbrake, okay? So you want to make sure the handbrake is at least doing something. So now we know that we're not really going anywhere, take the handbrake off and let's go. Obviously you've got low speeds, you kind of want to make sure there's no noises at low speeds, turn in anything, no noises anywhere. Give it one of them if you have to. Going over knocks and bumps, make sure you don't have the radio on yet, because you would have already made sure that all of that works. When we're going over these bumps, we can hear that there's no knocks, bangs, or anything like that. When we turn in, there's no CV joint noises, no clicking, no nothing. Going down the road in an automatic or even a manual as well, make sure that the gear changes are smooth. In a manual, make sure it's staying in the gears, obviously. So don't hold the gear stick, let go of it. Clutch bite point is reasonable. You're now coming up to your first braking point. Are the brakes juddering? No. Lovely. If you're juddering, and the steering wheel's going like this, typically it's the front. If you can feel it in your arse, it's probably the rear. But make sure there's no whirring noises, rumbling noises, nothing unwanted. No squeaking, no wind noises coming in through. Like if the window's open slightly, you can hear the wind noise, and with it shut, you can hear nothing, so that's great. If you want to find yourself a bit of motorway as well, so that you can make sure that all the cruise control and everything works, steering wheel is aligned in the middle. We're coming up to the motorway now. This is where you want to give the car a bit more of a harsh acceleration. Make sure that it boosts properly and it doesn't go into limp mode, because if it's going to go into limp mode, it's probably going to be when you give it some welly. Now we're up to 70 mile an hour, bang, we'll put the cruise control on, we'll make sure that that works, and we will make sure that the car is steering straight, and we'll make sure that the steering wheel is in a straight line. So you can see now, we're steering wheel straight, it's not a problem. Obviously the engine sounds nice and healthy, there's no ticking, nothing horrible going on, it boosted properly. So that is pretty much all you really need to look out for on a road test. Anything I've missed, let me know in the comments, or what you like to look out for when you're buying a car, and hope you enjoyed this video.